Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity at Tustin. My name is Deanna Parks. I'm proud to serve on the board and so happy that you're all here today in person or at home. A couple quick announcements. First I need to welcome Craig. Great to have you back. Craig Stephen Phillips is part of our spiritual ministry team, so glad you're here today. And we have Brenda Hunter and Patty Amelot on the hammer dulcimer. We had a sampling of that before we came in. That's gorgeous. Perfect for this time of year as well. So just a couple quick announcements about things that are coming up. We have our holiday events. Hopefully you can join us for Christmas Eve at 5 o'clock. The 5 o'clock service will be more family oriented, but just joyful as you can imagine. The kids will be doing a pageant in their own way explaining about the mysticism of Christmas. And we'll have our, of course, amazing choir performing as well. And then there'll be a walk through we believe, lit up. If you missed the festival lights, we'll have that lit up again, and we'll walk the gardens and then come back for Craig's service, which will be more meditative. So you can do both or either or. We will have service at 11 o'clock on Christmas morning, so you can join us for that. New Year's Eve service will be at 5 p.m., and it will include the burning bowl ceremony where we release anything that no longer serves us. We will then write letters to God, which will be returned next year. You should have got your letter just recently from last year. On January 8th, we'll have the White Stone Sunday, where we have a brief meditation and then write down our received word onto the white stone. And as Connie said last week, add it to your collection, a word to return to all year long. January 15th, if you're interested, even just a little bit, of joining the board, we'll have 2 positions coming up in March. But if you're wondering what exactly that entails and what that looks like, please join us the 15th right after service in the sanctuary here. Myself and Jeff and Mary Jean will be taking you through a walk of what the board does, how they do it. So if you're interested, you can hopefully, we do need, as I said, 2 more members, and we'd love some fresh new blood and ideas. This afternoon, after today's service, Craig will present the Winter Stillness Retreat. Perfect day for that before we go into the home stretch from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock here in the sanctuary. Give yourself the gift of deep silence and profound peace, especially during, this last week. It's a love offering of $25. You can just come in here and bring that, but no one is turned away. Thank you. And now I'm going to hand it over for our congregational song.
Thank you. Would you all please stand and join me for Joy to the World? I guess I could get up one. I guess that's better. Just waiting for the music. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. We rules the world with Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat
Thank you so much. Good morning. My name is Jim Perry. I'm one of your prayer chaplains here today, and it's my honor to be with you this morning and to light the Christ candle and to open this service by reading the daily word. And it's truly an honor for me to light this Christ candle because I know each of one of you is on a spiritual journey, and your spiritual journey has brought us here together today. And my spiritual journey is here to light this candle for you. I'm very blessed and honored to perform this for you, this sacred, simple ritual to remind us that the love and glory of Christ consciousness is within each of us. The daily word today is joy. I hope it resonates deep with you. Our biblical reference today is from Matthew, the book of Matthew, the second chapter, verse 10. And it says, when they saw that the star had stopped, when they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. And the reading is, as the 3 wise men followed the star to Bethlehem to greet the newborn child, I follow my inner light and discover the Christ within. As I approach the conclusion of the Advent season, I realize that this, rather than the material goods or creature comforts, this is the source of my joy. The Christ within is the part of me that is always one with God, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. When I face challenging times, I can draw from that inner wellspring of joy, my foundation of irrepressible strength and fortitude. I have within me the power to overcome any challenge. This day, this moment, I am joy-filled, and I celebrate the overflowing blessings of my divinity. Once again, the word of the day is joy, and the affirmation, joyfully I celebrate my oneness with God. Together, joyfully I celebrate my oneness with God.
So I invite everyone to close your eyes for a moment as we come to a moment of silent prayer. I'll be lighting the Advent candle for today. Great honor to light the candle of joy. What's that?
You have some help.
Oh. I didn't know about this. Surprise. The Buddha has appeared. Buddha, address the congregation. Are you going to light?
Oh, yeah.
Please do. Please
Sorry.
do. No, that's okay. I'll help you if you need to, okay? Let's make sure that you have an easy one here.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that one?
There you go. All right, thank you. What's your name?
I'm Gavin Keats.
Okay, welcome.
Maybe I'll need help with this one.
Push it this way.
Oh,
And that kind of unlocks it. The other one's even more different. You got it. Yeah, for you.
yes, please.
Okay, let us know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. This is the candle that represents hope and faith. The promise of God's gift to us, the Christ light. This candle and this, and this is the candle that represents peace and insight. We light this candle for the clarity that we receive. This is the candle that represents love and wisdom. We light this candle for the union of love and wisdom. And this is the candle that represents joy in Christ's light. We light this candle for the joy we feel in our hearts. And that's it.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Very brave, right? Did you feel that? Yeah, he had some nervousness going on. Has anybody ever felt that before? Yeah, it comes up and, obviously that was unplanned, at least for me. Very spontaneous. So there goes the children here. They're all leaving today. There's a bit of joy in that. There's a bit of joy in that spontaneity. I love it. When we try to have everything come off perfectly, you know what I mean? And then something disappoints us, or we're trying to control everything, right? No control there, right? But he lit the candles, notice. Very beautiful. So the candle of joy is today. If I ask each of you, how many of you are feeling joyful today? Yeah? You didn't have to raise your hands, but very, very spontaneous, very, very joyful in the raising of your hand. It's wonderful. Yeah, joy. These qualities, the Advent qualities are really, for me, the qualities of the Christ light. The Christ light that's in you, that's looking through your eyes today. Right? This is the gift of the season. And this is what we'll be moving into today as we close our eyes for a moment. I'm going to say a few words as I get into the opening prayer. And it's something that has come to light in recent weeks. We've heard from members of the community. I don't know, maybe Shara and Blair have talked about this already in their services. It's not a judgment. It's not a condemnation. There were just some of you that were noticing, probably particularly when I was here last time and we had the incredible cellist that was here. Concert level. Amazing. So there was this feeling that as he would end a piece and we were going into meditation, that the clapping was jarring. that it disturbed the meditation energy that he opened up for us and then was carried into the meditation. So with that said, I'm inviting everyone to hold your applause after the prayer today or after we hear the next piece. Let the music today carry you into a deeper meditation. You know, next to silence, I said this last month, I don't know about you, next to silence, music is the carrier of the presence. So it can be easily covered over by clapping, and I know everybody wants to show this appreciation. But let's begin to do the practice, particularly during the piece that a musician is playing leading into the meditation, of holding our applause and using the music as a catapult, as a doorway into the meditation opening. Okay? And it's opened already, hasn't it? Already today, the joy is flowing in this Christ light. And I invite you to feel that. The prayer of joy. There's really no words for that. This Christ light that Jesus embodied was joyful. So I invite you, as a prayer, get a feeling of just breathing into the space of your heart this morning. Breathe open. And feel that your breath is the carrier of this great joy. It's that available. Breathe joy to the heart and get a sense of relaxing deeply into the space we're in together today, this beautiful sanctuary. And feel that you're sitting in an ocean of joy. You might let a little Christ smile come to your lips today. Usually I say Buddha, but Christ. Feel that deeply. My invitation to you today, the prayer today, is to rest in that. Let go of your doing and be. Just be. In that being, we discover the Christ light. You don't have to look for it. That's the good news. You already are it. Every breath. Listen. Allow your body to be very, very still for just this moment. And listen. Do you hear what I hear? Do you hear the silence reverberating in every cell of your being? As you continue to listen, with the entire field of your body absorbed in this silence this morning, lift your interior gaze slightly. Gently focus on the point between your eyebrows, including the bridge of your nose. In the East, this is known as the Christ Center. The portal into that Christ light that is pouring into the world right now. From that point now, get a sense that your awareness is like a camera, a movie camera, scanning back from that point between your eyebrows, right back into the middle of your head. Get a sense of your awareness beginning to relax in the middle of your head as if in an old ancient cave, gazing out through the point between your eyebrows. Gazing into the Christ light. And this morning, as we listen to the silence, bring this mantra to the mind as you gaze into the Christ Center. Begin to gently repeat, Om Christ, to yourself. Om Christ. 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 gently let the mantra go. Breathe, listen, and rest in the Christ light that you are. Absorbed in the Christ light, bring awareness to the breath again and breathe it again through your chest into your heart. If you wish, you can bring your palm up and touch your heart as you breathe this Christ light, particularly the light of joy into the heart today, the light of presence. Breathing presence to presence, we are absorbed as that. Feel the heart overflowing with joy today, with the light of Christ. You are that. Isn't this what Jesus was trying to convey? If you wait a moment, you miss it. You must be here to know this. Absorbed in this, the promise of Christmas has come. You've been given the gift. You are that. As I always do every Sunday, I invite everyone that wishes to stay connected to this as I make a few Dharma comments. I can tell you, whatever I have to say from here on does not compare to what we're sitting in right now. If you are absorbed in this, there are no words to describe it. The culmination of spiritual seeking rests in what we are resting in now. The culmination of Christ's teachings, Jesus' teachings, who embodied the Christ, is known right now. When you know this, you know the Christ. You know Jesus the man. You know the Buddha. You know every great sage that you've ever studied or practiced with or read about. This is what they are absorbed in. They may have different names for it, but it's one. And today we're focusing on the quality of joy. I could easily have said silence, stillness, spaciousness, an ocean of spaciousness. Swim in that. Swim in your own heart. As I said, I invite everyone to rest in this as I speak a little bit. Keep coming back to it. Even if you get pulled away from it, the great thing is we can return anytime we wish. Reunion, yoga. There was a great sage who was asked, an enlightened master, who was asked, why do you continue to do the practices if you're already enlightened? He laughed and he said, because there is nothing like the joy of reunion. Over and over and over again. Yogananda called it ever new joy, ever new bliss. That is the Christ. Listen to these words from Eckhart Tolle. Christ is your God essence, or the self, capital S, as it's called in the East. The only difference between Christ and presence is that Christ refers to your indwelling divinity, regardless of whether you are conscious of it or not. Whereas presence means you are that awakened divinity or God-realized presence. Which are you this morning? During the month of December, I speak a lot in my Dharma talks to my students. If you've been coming on Wednesdays to meditation, you know how profound every week has been as it's deepened. Some of you perhaps are finding this coming here or in your meditation practice at home. You're just finding that when you close your eyes, presence, as Eckhart says, is immediately available to you. Diving into the ocean of Christ presence is So easy. So easy to be absorbed in our true nature. And this has to do with, and many sages have written about this, from the Taoist masters to the Buddhist to the mystical Christians. There is a great spiritual power flowing into the world right now. Many of you are feeling it. It began around Thanksgiving, but shortly after, we celebrated Bodhi Day. Some of you were at the meditation that we did. The celebration of Siddhartha Gautama's enlightenment under the Bodh tree. The Bodh tree was a fig tree. We call it Bodh tree because Bodh means the enlightened tree. All of you are sitting under the enlightenment tree this morning. Do you feel it? You don't have to go to Bodh Gaya and sit under the tree there. You can sit under the tree now of your own presence. What is required is that you let this attachment to the little me go today. The mind. This constant thinking that runs through our head. You don't have to get rid of it. Here's the wonderful news. If you just get absorbed in this energy we're in today, you won't care so much about what your mind is up to. Some of you notice that. It's not about getting rid of your mind. It's about right understanding of the voice that talks to you all the time. One of my teachers used to say, let the dog bark. You just rest in that awareness that you are. The awareness that Christ was pointing to, that we all are. The Buddha. I said on Bodh Gaya, or on Bodhi Day, that in Buddhist circles, Christ consciousness is called Buddha consciousness. Same thing. Buddha means awake. It doesn't refer to a particular man. He was called the Buddha, the one who was awake. And the Buddha was telling all of us, well, you are also that. When you dive deeply within, you are also that Buddha consciousness, the one who is awake. Are you awake this morning? Do you feel your own presence here? Not as a thought, as a field of being. Are you here? Usually we're wandering in our mind anywhere but here. Thinking about the next moment. The Buddha talked about this a lot. So did Jesus, by the way. They were very much in alignment that this that we are can only be known immediately and right now. Draw your awareness here, where it is. Rest in that. What is the point of your spiritual practices, if not to know this, to live this? Isn't that what Jesus was saying? Today is the beginning of Hanukkah, more spiritual energy. Some of you may know, Hanukkah doesn't always fall. The last day will culminate, I believe, the day after Christmas or Christmas. This doesn't happen every year. They go by the lunar calendar. This is very auspicious. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. The festival of light. Light, light. Enlightened. Lightening up. How many of you are moving through this season very heavy? A lot on your shoulders, a lot going on, doing. So much to do. I'll celebrate Jesus on the 25th. Right now, I got to get my party ready. I got shopping to do. Do you really think that when they started to celebrate this beautiful time that they had shopping malls and Christmas parties in mind? No, they had this that we're sitting in mind, this ability to come back and remember what we are, what Jesus was pointing to. So Hanukkah's flowing in now, and this will flow to, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday, we'll have the winter solstice. As if those two weren't enough, now we get the winter solstice coming in, the longest night of the year. This is a big thing in Taoist practice, one of my paths. Why? Because on that night, the longest night of the year, the earth moves into sleep. It's been moving there for those of you that have felt it. The earth is going to sleep. It's getting ready to rejuvenate and recharge for the spring ahead. I said this last year. For those of you thinking about initiating plans during this time, according to the Taoists, it's not a good time to do that. This is a time for rest, what you came here to do today. This is a time to be still. This is a time to be silent. Listen. Can you hear it? The earth is singing to us. Be still. Go to sleep. Take a rest. Recharge. In Taoism, this is called the yin. If you look at a yin-yang symbol, which symbolizes the movement of the Tao, the way, God, the yin is the dark part. The earth, the feminine. I love that. The Taoist masters knew and know that women are much more in touch with what I'm pointing at right now than men. Men tend to be more in their heads thinking all the time. That's the yang, the white part. We're coming to extreme yin now, so for one moment on the solstice, as we come into perfect balance here, the southern hemisphere will have the summer solstice, and for one moment, everything will be in perfect balance. Yin and yang will be like this. And after that moment, everything will start to tilt. Back to summer for us, back to winter for the southern hemisphere. Isn't that amazing? There's a great lesson in that. We're trying to hold everything still. We think that there's this perfect place we're going to reach where our life will be just as we need it to be. Maybe some of you have tried that in your life. You know it lasts for about 5 seconds, and then the mind creates a new challenge. That's the nature of the mind. But we can enjoy that moment on the winter solstice. We can meditate and go deeply. Tune into the energies of the yin, the feminine, that are calling you to meditate, to be still, to come home to who you are. Rest. I've said this before. Some of you may buy this or not. It's no coincidence this is when people get sick. Because they're not in balance right now. They're doing, going, parties, the shopping, right? At a time when nature is asking us to be still and rest, we're doing just the opposite. You might come to a little bit of that rest during this time. Let your body rejuvenate and be still. You can feel that stillness today as it's moving into the earth, into the world. You can hear the silence. You don't have to wait to meditate. After the solstice, we'll move into next weekend, which will be Christmas. The coming of the Christ. It's here now. This week, for those of you that find a little time to sit still, to go within, you'll find it increasingly deep. Don't take my word for it. That's the gift. Be still. Know. Be still and know. Come to the Christ. That energy is moving powerfully into the world right now. Longing to be remembered, to be reborn inside of us. Thank goodness we do this once a year. We can do it every day. We can remember this that we are through meditation. Jesus came to the earth and discovered and embodied this Christ awareness that you are. Again, he would have had no problem calling it Buddha nature. But he embodied this that's called the Christ, this awareness that is absolutely giving rise to everything there is right now. It is in every cell of your body. It's holding the chair, the piano, the space, the trees, all the cosmos are arising in this consciousness of oneness. There is one light, one awareness that is appearing here. Do you know it? For those of you that love Jesus, is there anything else he would want us to know? It's clear to me that Jesus and the Buddha and all the great ones that we love, they came here with one focus and one purpose. To remind us who we are. That's it. They cannot wake us up. No more than you can lead a horse to the water and then have them drink. Sometimes if you're around a profound master, the space will be impregnated with that energy, with the Christ consciousness. It's not them personally doing that. They know that. If they don't know that, they're going to take a fall sooner or later. And many gurus do. Many teachers do. But the good ones, like Christ, they know that this is an impersonal energy that's moving all the time. Jesus woke up to that. How did he wake up to that? Read his teachings. It's all there. The blueprint for a life of joy and awakening is right there in his words. If you read what he said, and more than read, apply, like we're doing today. Be still and know. And he said to all of us as he came, what you are looking for is within you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And it is spread out before you, but you do not see. We don't see because we are lost in this machine, thinking. The little me, as Eckhart calls it. It's a good word. With its problems, with its dramas. I read the life of Jesus. There was no drama there. He was laser focused, as was the Buddha, on what I'm talking about right now. And his mission was just to point us to what we are, to remind us it's not just me. I have discovered and woken up to something that you are. Do you know it? If you know it, you'll have eternal life. This kingdom is within you, and it is available now on this breath. Take a breath and feel. What is it in you that felt that breath without thinking about it? Awareness. Jesus said that if you seek this above all else, nothing will be denied you. For those of you that think you don't have enough in your life, you're going through scarcity or lack, Jesus was pretty clear. If you keep God first, the Tao first, right here, everything else that you need will be given to you. Do you believe it? How many of you really feel that? Beautiful. And those of you that didn't raise your hands, thank you. Because in my experience, when I meet people, and I go through this in my own path, sometimes it's difficult to trust that. But I know that Jesus didn't lie. He knew, the Buddha knew. If you just keep God first and present in your life, you will be amply provided for. Now, you may not get a Ferrari and $5 million in the bank, but you will have what you need. That's my story, right? I have what I need. From the outside, people may think, wow, look at him. I guess these ministers and spiritual teachers, they don't do so well. Yet Jesus said it, and I'll say it, I would not trade the pearl that I have for any wealth in the world. What's been discovered here is everlasting and indestructible. That's what Jesus brought. That's why he went to the cross saying, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. They're lost in the ego and the mind. He encountered this over and over again in his followers. Can't you even sit with me for an hour and pray when I am getting ready to be crucified? You can't even stay awake for an hour after this time I've had with you. You have not heard what I said. You can hear his frustration in that story, can't you? Like, didn't you get it? Presence? Now? You know, there's a lot of talk these days about prosperity consciousness. All of you have your ideas about that. What a life of prosperity may mean. You know, that all started to culminate around remember The Secret? I'll tell you the secret. Jesus gave us the secret in the Gospel of Thomas. If you do not know who you are, you live in poverty. If you know who you are the wealthiest person in the world. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's his message. Stop worrying about your bank account and your 401s and what the stocks are doing. Sit your down and be still. Come home to me, to the Christ, and then everything will be provided for you. It's pretty simple, but we hedge our bets. We think we have to take care of the deal. It just comes in, doesn't it? I can guarantee you today at the intensive, there will be people that are absolutely awake when they leave, and they will go and they will forget. There's a remembering and a forgetting, a remembering and a forgetting, a remembering and a forgetting, until we choose no longer to forget. It comes in a moment like this. I got to get my party ready. I don't have time to meditate. And something in you says, no, you sit. And in that sitting, you come home to the breath, to this moment, to the presence that's here, always. Where else will we find it? Jesus was clear about this. It is now or never. We do not have to wait for this after we die. These are my favorite teachings from Jesus, my favorite teacher. I always say people may be surprised to hear me say that, but I also know that he felt misunderstood. We can understand easily. if we just open our hearts to this energy that's flowing through right now and give ourselves to it fully on this breath, the Holy Spirit. Some say a blue star will rise again in the hearts of humankind. Some say we have been in exile, and what we need is a soul of fire. Star of wonder, star of light, star of royal beauty, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. That's the gift of Jesus that he brings us, at least every year, but we can all receive that every day if we remember. Some of you have had that experience where your soul has been set afire and you've realized deeply, and Jesus said this very clearly, as did the Buddha and all the great ones. Whatever you think is outside of you that is going to fulfill you, it's not going to do it. This to me is spirituality 101. This is like the first thing you'll read from a teacher. You've been wandering in the world. You've been thinking that the next job will do it, that your status will do it, that the money will do it, the next job will do it, the relationship will do it, the better car will do it, the better spiritual path will definitely do it, the better technique will do it. And it never does it? Notice that your doing does nothing but exhaust you. Exhausting. Out of that exhaustion comes a soul of fire. I don't want anything but God. All I want to do is rest in the Christ, in my true nature. Until we mean that, it will elude us. We'll go another year and you might be hearing me saying this or someone else sitting here saying this. And you'll go, oh yeah, that's right. Nothing I did this year really satisfied me. Have you noticed that? I readily give that to you. Nothing satisfies me in this world anymore. This world of change. Nothing. But when I turn within and taste, what more could I want? It's all been given to us. When we want only that, Jesus was clear, you will have it, and you will have it like that. And God knows, right? We can't fool God. I'll really mean it today, but tomorrow I'll be thinking about the party or whatever, right? I got my project to work on tonight. I don't have time for meditation. So I'll give myself to it later. There's no later. Many people have waited for later and they end up dying in a car crash. There it is. This brings back a good point. Jesus pointed to this, but the Buddha was big on this as well. After his enlightenment, it is said that the Buddha, when he sat under the Bodhi tree, he saw the journey to waking up, and it was arduous. He had suffered so greatly, not only in that lifetime, but many lifetimes. And he used to tell his monks, if you knew how much you struggled and suffered to get your precious human body, you would not waste a moment. If you knew what you have gone through, even to hear the teachings of truth, you would not waste a precious moment on this nonsense that you're engaged in. The dramas in your mind that mean nothing and will mean nothing a day from now. If you knew, let alone become enlightened or waking up fully to this presence that we are, which is just grace. We can't make that happen. As one of my mentors and friends, Adyashanti, says, that doesn't mean, if it's grace that wakes us up, it doesn't mean that you can't set the table every day and wait for the divine guest. That waiting is meditation. Wait patiently. Jesus talked about that. The bridegroom waiting, the lamp is lit. What do you think that was? The lamp of your presence is waiting for the still, and there it is, stillness. Oh. But you have to be alert. Jesus said that. You got to be here and present. So don't let it get away. We've been given this precious human birth, and all of us are so fortunate that we have come to these teachings. More fortunate, I think, than we can even know. Don't pay them lip service. You have a week before Christmas now. Sit still every day. When your mind tells you you don't have time, I would say to you, you have time for everything but that. Right? The time that you give to the parties and to all these things that you think you need to do, let it go. Focus on what is important, which is communing and being still in this presence, and see what happens. One of my teachers always said, then see what happens. It's palpable. The gift is here for you now. Will you accept it? It's not under a tree. It's not waiting for you on December 25th. It's now or never. Jesus was clear about that. So I just want to say, as I wrap up my comments today, if you enjoyed this today, being here, I invite you to come to the retreat today. There's a number of you that have been to retreats with me before. There is no better gift that you could give yourself than sitting still for 3 hours and diving within. And most of you that have been there know the space is very held. It's not like we're just going to be sitting still the whole 3 hours, though that would be a great retreat. I've said this before. In Zen circles, if you met a really good master, he'll tell you to sit still and won't tell you to do anything else. Can you imagine? Be still. If you go into that stillness in every cell of your body, you will wake up. There's no that's not really a technique. It's just being still. I remember the old days I was so nervous, I couldn't sit still for 5 minutes. My leg would start doing this, and I start itching and like that. Then you start to settle down, and it becomes more and more simple. So in this retreat, there will be 3 sections. Every section will be different. We'll be using a mantra today, and we will be doing a technique that we only do at the winter retreat, a candlelight meditation, but we'll also be using a particular mantra to vibrate at the Christ Center here. I hope I've enticed you. It's worth coming just for that. You'll be able to take that with you. Yeah, worth every moment of your time. Okay. All of you have gone to Christmas parties. Come to the party this afternoon. Party of your own being. If your mind's telling you you don't have time, I would look at that again. I encourage you to do that. All right, let's close our eyes for a moment as we come to the end of our Dharma time, our truth time today. I love talking about Jesus. I feel such a passion when I speak about his teachings because they have transformed my life. Breathe this embodiment of Christ that Jesus had discovered. Jesus, the man, became and embodied the Christ. And his message was, you are that too. Do you know? Or do you want to live in poverty? Breathe that into your heart today. Breathe the Christ light that you are. Let your mind be absorbed in that. And let's listen to these words from the great Buddhist teacher, Howard Thurman. When the song of the angels is stilled, when the star in the sky is gone, when the kings and princes are home, when the shepherds are back with their flocks, then the work of Christmas begins. To find the lost, to heal the broken, to feed the hungry, to release the prisoner, to rebuild the nations, to bring peace among the people, and joy to the heart.
Thank you so much, Craig. Namaste. Thank you for renewing the remembering with us. It's my honor now to open my heart and along with lead the congregation in welcoming our first-time visitors. We are an inclusive community. We accept and love all of you, regardless of your journeys of your past religious experiences or your sexual identity or gender identity. We know that one life, one God, all of us share this spiritual journey together. And if you'd like to raise your hand, we'd like to recognize you. Our ushers have a flower and a welcoming packet, if there's anyone here. Okay, and for our friends online too, if you'd like to join our email list, we would love to hear from you and let you know what our weekly activities are. So we're grateful that you joined us here today. For those of you who are not first-time guests, we'll take this moment to share our financial gifts with our ministry. Unity of Tustin is our home and our spiritual kitchen where we feed and nourish our spiritual selves. So our love offerings and community givings are shared and blessed with our community. There are many ways for you to give here and now. We do have mobile giving, which is the one that I use on my phone, an app, theshelbynext.com. Just text it to the phone number. We also have a kiosk in the back. You can swipe. For our friends online, there's a button on there. Or, of course, the ushers are passing along the baskets. So as the ushers pass the basket, Patty and Brenda have another beautiful gift for us. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick before we do that. Let's bless the love offering. Yes, together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Patty and Brenda, thank you. Thank you so much. It's beautiful. Will you pray with me as we bless these tithings? Oh, Holy Spirit, blessed Creator of all that is, we're so grateful for this opportunity to share with our ministry, with our congregation, these gifts. We know that these gifts are filled with love, and this love will ripple out into the world. And for that we give thanks. And so it is. Amen. Please join us for hospitality in the garden afterwards. We do have prayer chaplains at the entrance to the garden. They're wearing white ribbons like this. They'll be more than happy to pray with you with anything that's on your mind. We do have Reiki practitioners as well, ready to serve you. The bookstore is open with some beautiful gifts in there. And we hold your prayers in the highest of confidence, so please feel comfortable being with us. And now, as we prepare ourselves for the day, let us finish off this beautiful morning with a prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Go forth and be it. Amen.